Hey Joyanimas, my name is Ada and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about deal breakers. These are things that lots of guys and girls do, which actually puts girls off from entering into a relationship with them. So if you want to know the things that you need to stop doing or do more of so that you can, potentially have a long, everlasting relationship, this is the video for you. Stay tuned. Poor timekeeping. The occasional turning up late to something is excused, but if it is a consistent thing, this is a huge deal breaker. This can be anything from turning up late to plans, being flaky and cancelling last minute, to actually extending their welcome at a friend's house and not being socially aware. This is a big reason for breakups because it comes across disrespectful for the person who is put out, that person that is stood up. Not paying on the first date. Romance really isn't dead, and it's respected and welcomed in modern day relationships. Women find it a huge deal breaker if a guy doesn't pay on the first date. That doesn't mean that she won't return the favour on the second date, obviously. It just means that if he doesn't get out of his card when the waiter comes to the table, she's going to feel a little bit disrespected. No interest to their values or their interests. Now, let's be real, you are never expected to fully merge together in a relationship and like everything that your partner likes, but you are kind of expected to show some form of happiness and respect. Even if you hate sports, yet your partner watches a game, goes to events, and it's a huge deal for them, you need to be willing to just say, "Did you win? Was it a good game? Tell me some more." Showing an interest is a big sign that you want to know the other person and you really see them for who they are. And refusal to show any sign of respect in value or interest is a huge deal breaker. For example, if a guy says his girlfriend is silly for buying crystals, that's rude. His opinion is not valid, and it's kind of borderline toxic to tell someone they are wrong to have an opposing value, belief, or interest. Not willing to compromise. If you are not able to work through issues 50-50 and you show no signs to actually comfort the other person, say during arguments, and respect them, it's a deal breaker. Relationships are a consistent test of compromise, from what food is purchased to what time you actually go to bed, and if someone will not budge and they always want things their way or the highway, it's a deal breaker. Getting drunk on the first date. Liquid confidence works until it doesn't, when that person has too much. It never works on a first date. It shows that person that you are dependent on something to change your internal state and that you are so anxious you can't really enjoy the moment with them. It's a sign that you don't actually know your limits, which means you are not self-aware, which lacks confidence, which is also a deal breaker. Zero drive and zero passion. Women are born nurturers. They want to help those around them. They want to care, they want them to grow and flourish. However, they don't want to feel disrespected or taken for granted or feel like a mum. And if they feel that they are carrying the weight of the relationship behind them, it sucks. And if someone doesn't have a drive to achieve good things, to improve their situation, and chooses to just sit around and mope about things, it's a deal breaker. How confrontation is handled. If someone is unable to keep their cool under confrontation, it's an eye-opener to that person's actual character and how they are going to treat you further along in the relationship. You've heard of the waitress test. How does someone respond when their order is being brought out to them late or the order is wrong? If someone is willing to not suppress that erratic rage of emotions to avoid, obviously, making everyone feel pretty awkward at the dinner table, then they are toxic. And how matters are dealt with in an argument depicts how a relationship is actually going to pan out. If someone name calls, bring up past issues in an argument, talks down to the other person and drags out the sulking for days on end, and most importantly, gaslighting, if this happens in a relationship, it's toxic, immature, and a huge deal breaker. How the ex talk is approached. Talking about your exes, it's healthy, and being able to subjectively look on the past and recognize what you don't like and what you do like in a relationship, it is healthy. However, if someone always brings up an ex or even keeps items around their house that were their exes, this is a deal breaker. Now, I'm not talking about the sofa that an ex bought because you're not expected to get rid of that, but more specifically, if their clothing is still in the wardrobe or someone always says, "My ex bought this for me, my ex bought me this as well," there's a little bit of emotional attachment there, and yes, red flag. Lying, period. We all hate liars, but dating one makes things so much more uncomfortable. Dishonesty can be small or large, and it doesn't matter. It still gives the woman the, this isn't right feeling. She will feel like she just cannot trust you with her words, and she can't emotionally relate to you. And a lot of dishonesty usually happens at the beginning of a relationship, because someone can lie about their height on their Tinder profile. They can make themselves out to appear much more successful than they really are. And the first sign that someone is lying, even on their Tinder bio or any form of embellishment, is a huge deal breaker. Poor hygiene. This makes the list, and you would be surprised why. Women spend a lot of time investing into their appearance. We love how we look, and they appreciate it when their partner does the same. If a woman notices a guy or that a lady doesn't actually maintain good regular hygiene, it rings some warning bells. It shows that you have lack of respect for yourself and you are willing to not care about you. And a good rule of thumb is, what does the inside of their car look like? Is it well maintained and cleaned? If so, there's probably a huge chance that they have good personal hygiene, and the latter, well, you guessed it. The obsession to a friend group. Having a big friend group is amazingly awesome, which is quite rare these days. However, the dependency on the friend group is not. And if you always bring your friends with you to days out and expect your crush to hang out with you and your friends, well, this isn't really quality time. You need to respect her and take her out separately. If you don't, it's a huge deal breaker. Not having any friends, aka being a loner. Not having real life relationships with people is very unhealthy, and you end up becoming dependable on everything with your partner, which, yikes, it's a huge space to fill and no one should be expected to do so. Poor listening skills. If you are not able to fully listen to your partner, it's a huge deal breaker. If you interrupt her, tell her that her opinions are not valid, not willing to see her perspective or even multitask and scroll on the gram while she is talking with you, this is bad behavior that will leave you on red, leave you ghosted, but most importantly, it's a deal breaker. Living with your parents or living with immature people like housemates. I get it, the financial economy is terrible and we don't have money like people say we do to buy a house under the age of 22. However, that does not mean that you should depend on living with your parents for the rest of your life. And also, if you live with immature, dirty housemates or your mom, it's a lack of self-development that you are missing out on. Nothing is more of a kick up the butt than living alone and balancing work life, social life, cooking healthy meals, trying to complete a new game on your PlayStation, washing your socks and tending to a cactus. If you are living with your parents or housemates, don't worry. You just need to prove that you are willing to move out one day. Talk about your regular saving deposits. Prove to your lady that you can cook and clean for yourself, and show her that you don't actually enjoy your current situation too well and you are willing to still grow as a person. A lot of time, guys that live with their parents, well, they are emotionally stunted, and it's really as if you are dating a teenager. Unhealthy dependencies. Each to their own with how you choose to distress. It could be trash TV binges, alcohol, or even substance abuse. But a big deal breaker is the dependency. If you need to continuously abuse something to feel emotions, even overeating, this is unhealthy and it's a huge red flag. The act of infidelity. You probably guessed that this one would make the cut. Now, this stems from physical cheating to emotional. Women know that if you chronically like 3 pictures of one person in a row on the gram, you are definitely drawing attention to yourself for the hope of that sexual attraction from that person. If you are too flirty with waitresses or even their best friends, expect to be left on red and your belongings to be in a box outside your front door. How your finances are handled. Careless spending, a huge amount of debt that isn't under a plan to be paid off, running up credit cards, lavish spending on payday, and then eating ramen noodles for the remaining days of the month until payday comes around again. These are all deal breakers, and it's a big sign of immaturity of how you handle your life. If you don't have a budget, it's a sign that you can't really think long term, and who wants to date someone that can't think long term? Definitely not me. And there we go, we've reached the end of the video. If you want to binge some more, click right here. Or if you want to get your name up on our super fan board, then all you have to do is be a member of our Joyanima monthly membership. Details will be down below. Like and subscribe. See you soon.